Chapter 120. Alex glanced at Mia silently and thought, "You've always looked down on me, what's the point of revealing myself? It will only give more trouble to both of us." So, he decided best to keep it a secret. Likewise, he rescued her for the sake of his dear wife Emma. It's not that he had a special treatment for her anyway. Seeing that the man didn't say a word, Mia understood that he didn't want to reveal his identity, so she stopped her curious question. However, she was a woman with a masculine personality that refused to cling to men in any circumstances. She felt awkward and uncomfortable for not being able to express her gratitude after his help. When she wanted to ask again, a hoarse and cold voice echoed in her ears. "Take off your pants." Mia looked up in bewilderment. She suddenly felt ashamed and agitated when she saw the masked man was eyeing her from head to toe. She thought that she had escaped the tiger's lair, but she fell right into the wolf den. Glancing at her surroundings, she was in the middle of nowhere. The man was so skilled and strong, no one would hear her even if she shouted at the top of her lungs. Desperate, Mia gritted her teeth in despair and warned sternly, "Don't you dare touch me. I won't be abused by anyone. I would rather die before you can do anything to me." Alex was stunned by her sudden repulsion. Again, he lowered his voice and said while pointing at her leg, "The stab wound on your hamstring is very close to the aorta. If it is not treated in time, your leg will be damaged. If I take you to the hospital first before stopping the bleeding, you'll lose too much blood and it will be too late. What do you think I should do?" Mia stared at him in astonishment, her cheeks were blushing red-hot suddenly. She thought that the man was trying to jump on her, but... Alex sighed quietly as he looked at Mia, who looked back at him, dumbfounded. Mia cleared her throat and asked timidly, Can you help me stop the bleeding?" Alex nodded and said, "Yes, I've studied traditional medicine and can use some ancient techniques to stop the bleeding and minimize the injury. Then, you'll have enough time to go to the hospital for follow-up treatment." Thank you," Mia mumbled quietly, her face as red as a cherry tomato. She looked at her wound and felt contradictory and embarrassed. The stab wound was inconveniently on the upper thigh. She had to take off her pants before he could treat her wound. But wouldn't it mean the man would see her bare legs if she did as he had told? Mia underwent a strict upbringing from the Stewart family. Mia kept her distance with other men physically in the usual days. She wouldn't let any men have physical contact with her either. Besides, the family doctor of the Stewart family was a renowned doctor abroad. She doubted that simple acupuncture could stop the bleeding and treat her injuries. Mia pondered the circumstances and finally said, "Thank you for your help, but please take me to the hospital. I think I can make it." Alex frowned in exasperation, knowing full well what she was thinking about. Mia must have thought that her injury was not serious, that going to the hospital was the better option. But she didn't know that the reason why she felt alright now was that he secretly interjected a trace of qigong into her body when he was carrying her. Otherwise, how else could she have survived until now? She would have died from losing too much blood. Truth be told, Mia really thought that the injury she sustained was not serious, so she wanted to stand up. However, as soon as she moved, the wound tore open and a burst of hot blood spurted out of the wound. Stars and blackness suddenly overtook her sight. Her legs went jelly and she collapsed on the floor, her face as pale as snow. Alex frowned and said, "See? I told you, if you move around again, you can say goodbye to your leg. Even if you go to the hospital now, it's impossible to treat it. Besides, you're losing too much blood, you'll die in shock before the ambulance comes."